Welcome back. Well, Gianluigi Buffon and Marc-Andre ter Stegen, the two happiest men in Turin this evening because they both managed to keep clean sheets. Juventus 0, Barcelona 0. Barcelona through to the last 16. Juventus still have some work to do in their final game against Olympiacos away. Let's show you the group table, what that all means. And, well, you'll see Barcelona sitting proudly at the top. And you see as well that Sporting beats Olympiacos 3-1. We'll have the goals from that coming up in just a couple of minutes. In the final round of group games, Barca into the knockout stages. They are at home to Sporting. Olympiacos, Juventus will be interesting for sure. Juventus in the better position at the moment, but Sporting, the Portuguese side, still fighting for a place in the last 16, even though they'd have to win in Barcelona on match day 6. Richie, what did you make of that? Barcelona, job done, I suppose. They're through.
Job done, clean sheet. They got the point that they knew was enough. I didn't find it an entertaining game. It wasn't particularly enjoyable to watch. We spoke at half-time and said there was a lack of quality from players that you would expect could deliver a lot more. I was looking forward to seeing how Barcelona, particularly up front, would react to Messi's omission, whether Suarez and others would give a performance to demonstrate that they don't rely on him, that they don't need him on the team and they can be a threat. They weren't. Before Messi came on, they weren't a threat at all. So it's a disappointing night given what both sides would have been capable of. But if you're looking to judge their potential to go on and win the tournament and the performance both of them gave tonight, no, you wouldn't be too hopeful.
Yeah, Richard, did that surprise you that, you know, like Barcelona are not going to have Messi forever, you know, the fitness issues, all that sort of thing, although he does normally play every game and normally plays all 90 minutes, that without him it was kind of ordinary?
It's very ordinary, yeah. It was flat. I mean, Juventus changed. They've been playing a 4 at the back most of the season. They've gone to a 3, and it was very tight everywhere around that middle of the pitch. There was no space. And Barcelona are missing someone who could run in behind. I know they've signed Dembele, who's lightning quick, and he can stretch them a little bit. But tonight they didn't have anyone. Deulofeu, you get a chance to go and prove yourself. He was terrible on the night. And you can go through the team. No one really performed, you know, and I think obviously we want Messi to be playing and we know that what he can do, but there was no energy in their team. They looked like they were slow in terms of the passing was slow. There was no running off the ball, and it wasn't a very impressive performance. And on the other hand, you can say they took the draw because
sure,
they've won the group now and all that, and it's a professional result in that sense. But as far as an entertainment value, there wasn't much. Yeah,
that's kind of indeed been a recurring theme with the other players, apart from Messi and Neymar's gone, and you know the Deulofeus, the new breed coming through. And I know they were missing. They left 7 or 8 guys at home, injuries and all that sort of thing. That the next generation of Barcelona footballers, well, look, they're never going to be. There's not going to be another Messi, but that they're not up to the standard of the other guys who have been part of this iconic team.
Yeah, and we shouldn't compare anyone to Messi because, as you say, we probably don't see a footballer like him for the next few decades. If there was one person in and around Barcelona, maybe within the football club, who wasn't sure about the importance of Lionel Messi, I think everybody saw tonight what impact he's got, the importance of him. Messi is Barcelona, and you know, maybe coming up to these contract talks, if he hasn't signed a contract yet, I think they have to do everything in their power to keep him at the football club, because without him, you know, up until now we don't really know what Barcelona is without Messi, because they rarely play without him, because over the last, I don't know, 8-9 years, there's probably only a handful of games he's missed. And yes, there's guys who can step into that mould and maybe carry their football club, but for now he's still the main man. And Dembele is a very important player. I saw him in Germany. I think he's a big loss. He's an excellent player for his age, and they certainly need him, because now with Neymar gone, Suarez maybe coming to the end of his powers. We've got a clip on him. He was very poor today. You need players who can score goals. Defending, I've done it a little bit. Richard done it more than me. I don't want to say it's the easy part, the easier part.
He's sitting too close to you to say that, by the way.
No. He's my friend. The hard part is to score goals. And for a club like Barcelona, you will always need exciting players. You need players who create something, who score goals. And that's the hardest bit, and to find somebody who gets into that situation in the position to, at some stage, not take over Messi's place, but to 2 or 3 players who can carry the club forward, I think it'll be an almighty task.
You look at it, we were saying earlier that it's almost impossible that Messi's going to leave, but then you think about the players that they've missed out in the summer, the likes of Verratti, Mbappe's gone to PSG, Neymar has left Barcelona to PSG. Maybe Messi's looking at it now going, do you know what, we're not the draw that we used to be. Yeah. So the contract is coming to an end, and obviously he has options wherever he wants to go, and there's probably better clubs now than Barcelona, so if he wants to continue and play at the top level, maybe he thinks that his next Champions League win is maybe at another club at this stage.
And who's out there to get? There's only so many players out there, and the best ones play in Paris now. Who's out there?
Yeah, no. Well, let's look at Messi. Just for the record, he came on in the 56th minute tonight. I'm sure, like you at home, we were sitting waiting for this fella to come on, and he did come on, and he did some magical things, as we expect him to do.
Yes, not as magic, because in all fairness to Juventus, defensively I think they've been very good today. They didn't give Barcelona an awful lot of space. Here he gives Deulofeu a Hulk who's been under par really. This is after 2 minutes. He makes a run in behind. He stretches teams, nearly catches Benatti out, and this is what we know. He draws players' attention. There's 2 or 3 players around him. Plays a nice little 1-2 with Suarez. Doesn't get the best ball back, but at least they get a free kick. And this is the best chance. Plays a ball. Quadrado doesn't cover himself in glory. Dunne makes a bad decision. That ball to Suarez was never on. He's got to try his own luck. He's got to try and finish that himself. But he had the only spark, really, Barcelona had in that second half was after he came on. Not what we used to, but then again, it wasn't probably not the easiest game to come on. So,
Richie, the focus then comes back onto the president of Barcelona, who is, as all presidents at that club are, kind of, you know, a divisive figure. People love him, people don't, they're not mad about him. And as Richard said, the stuff in the summer, Bellerin missed out on Verratti, losing Neymar, then even Dembele, Barcelona fans weren't sure about him. So they need to get this thing done, and quick, if it's not done already.
They do, I mean, because over the last few years, the quality of young players hasn't been coming to the academy like it was in the previous few years. The quality of players that they recruited, they've spent a good bit of money over the last few years and haven't matched the quality of the top players that have been there. And in addition to losing out on those players in the summer, to lose Neymar and to have a situation where your main man, like, maybe it's done. Maybe it is done silently, and for whatever reason, there's some reason that they all believe that it's worth delaying this announcement. I can't think of what that would be, but let's assume it's not. I don't know what the president could do that he hasn't already done. I don't know what moves you could make that he hasn't already made, because if it's a financial thing, you would assume they've given him whatever he wants. There's no reason why you would penny pinch with someone like Messi, because if he goes, like, he's irreplaceable, and if he leaves, you've lost an asset for nothing. And as you saw, football wise, if he goes, you're leaving a demoralised dressing room, because like if the players saw Neymar leave in whatever way he did in the summer, know that the players that they wanted didn't come, and now the top fella leaves, that becomes then a club which isn't the Barcelona that we've described and watched over the last few years. Your first question tonight was, you know, if they've been there for the last 10 years, will they be? They won't be for many, many years if they let him go, because there's a ripple effect. It's not just the loss of him, it's just the impact and then the impression that people have of Barcelona. It won't be seen as a super club in the way that it was while Messi was a player.
And I think it's a worrying times for Barcelona fans. But if you imagine now he's going, Suarez hasn't been the player for the last few weeks. He's 30 now.
31 in January.
31 in January. So I don't think he's got an awful long left, the way he has played over the last 10 years, going to South America, playing for Uruguay. Now, if Messi were to go, Suarez coming to the end of his powers, I think. Iniesta's coming to the end of his powers at some stage. What have you got? You know. Well,
even like Piqué as well, like who has been the mainstay of that defence for many years. Okay, Mascherano was out injured. Like, the age profile of that group, of the world-class group or whatever, the group that won so much is quite, it's the wrong side of third.
And they probably didn't need top-class defenders in the last 10 years because they're the best players going forward, because there's so much going forward. So obviously it changes the whole dynamics of the football club, and it's really a worrying time for Barcelona fans if that contract hadn't been signed or hasn't been signed. I wonder where it leaves them if you were to decide to go.
Yeah. And look, I have a feeling I know the answer to this, and I think, Richard, you touched on it. You know, it's match day 5, they're through, they did what they had to do tonight. They were able to maybe keep Messi fresh for Valencia on Sunday, which is a big game. Is it you know, that's perhaps the other side of the equation.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be worried about people saying, well, you didn't play great and you weren't, is your electric best tonight. For them, it's a job. They went to Juventus last season and got hammered 3-0, you know, so they've gone there and they've done what they wanted to do. They've kept Juventus really quiet and without creating art in themselves. They've done a job, they've got through, top of the group, and that's great for them. But if you look at it going forward, if that's the sort of performances they're going to put in when they play certainly Paris Saint-Germain or Manchester City in the next rounds, you don't picture them winning. You know, you don't picture them like Paulinho in midfield, people like that. He's not the standard of Barcelona from what we've seen. And even bringing Deulofeu back, bringing Denis Suarez back as well. Do you know, it's completely.
Well, we are comparing them to some of the best players we've seen, and but it has been a constant kind of over the last couple of years that the next generation.
But that's the thing. All the time they change their manager. The manager stays for a couple of years, and he's happy with his team for them few years. There's never been at a club where they've built and they look, and because they've had this generation of unbelievable footballers who we probably won't see the likes of again. So. They've taken their eye off what's coming next.
Richie, show us Suarez tonight.
Before the game, he's on a goal drought in the Champions League, and there's a lot of discussion about, you know, why is he playing the way he is. But I mean, tonight, he threw himself on the ground there. His general play, stuff like this, is the ball's into feet, his hold-up play, and then he kind of throws his arm around, having a little, I don't know who he's having a go at, but his general build-up play was so poor. He wasn't a goal threat. He spent a lot of time down on the ground, kind of dragging out the impact of supposed injuries, and in the really close areas when players are around, and when so often you see him playing 1-2s around, just cheaply giving the ball away like this. So, and this towards the end, no one near you, have a touch, like you've 6 yards of space before, and he can't do that. So that's a big concern for them as well, because come back, you know, to Neymar leaving, Messi, whatever his situation is, but even put Messi on the pitch, Suarez playing like that, and they're drastically kind of lessened because of it. So whether there's something going on off the pitch for him, psychologically he's impacted by something, whether it's confidence levels, whether his head's gone, there's something, but he's looking like a player that is like just unrecognisable from what he is at his best.
Richard, just to finish it out, Juventus could have won it at the end. Dybala had, this was in stoppage time, it was a fabulous chance from that position you described before the match. This he thrives in.
Yeah, we're talking about him trying to find space before the game, and there wasn't a lot of it this evening, but it took to 91 minutes and he got a same situation as what he was in at the Nou Camp earlier and in the same game, and it was a great strike and a really good save by the goalkeeper, who had been relatively untested throughout the match. So it was good concentration by him and a good strike by Dybala, but it's a half chance rather than a clear-cut chance, but that's as good as we got, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Well, Juventus drawing at home against Barcelona through to the last 16.
And you can see just why it is that Juventus do have a bit of work to do in order to qualify. Just a point separates them, although arguably they do have the easier of the away dates to finish on. Having said that, don't forget that Olympiacos did hold Barcelona to a scoreless draw in Greece.